Hello and welcome to Warp Factor Unknown, the podcast where we delve into the world of Star Trek for an unpredictable rewatch and discussion. I'm your host Dan, and joining me today is the connoisseur of all things Pakled related, Tom.
Hello everyone, nice to be here as usual.
Fantastic. And today we are not actually watching an episode in this podcast. We are doing a bit of a recap of our season 1 of podcast, talking about what we want to do for season 2, and then finishing up by selecting an episode. So Tom, season 1, we've done 10 episodes with a few bonus episodes. Hopefully they've come out before this does. I think they will have done.
Yep.
Thoughts, feelings?
Thoughts, feelings, yes. Well, it was a good mix of episodes that we saw from the animated series, which some of them I hadn't seen before at all, to the more well-known TNG, and a couple of DS9 as well.
Yes, we did get a couple of DS9,
Yeah.
and one of them was a two-parter.
Yeah,
Yes.
a really good two-parter as well.
Yeah, it was a really good two-parter.
Yeah, on the whole, it's just nice to view Trek in this sort of more random way than watching it back-to-back, season to season. It's nice to pick an episode at random and just go for it and see what you can uncover.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think it's sort of one thing that might be sort of worth bear repeating maybe a bit more frequently than we do is what we're doing and why. And what we are doing is just taking random episodes of Star Trek from everywhere across the franchise and watching it. And I like to call it like a shotgun kind of fashion, just sort of see where the dart lands. And the reason for that is, I don't think there is a reason necessarily. I think it was, we wanted to watch more Star Trek and we wanted to talk about watching Star Trek, but we didn't want to watch all Star Trek in, like, you know, from beginning to end.
Yeah.
I think if you was to watch one episode a week and do a podcast about it, it would take you like 14 years or something stupid like that. It'd take a very long time to go through everything.
And I think the general, way of watching Star Trek, if you're not going to watch the whole series back to back, you're at least going to watch a season and then maybe try a different one. Whereas we're doing like an episode at a time, which is good because you get to be immersed in all different Treks in quite a short period of time, which is good.
And what we found by doing those first 10 episodes is there was actually little threads and plot points or things that we could sort of carry over from one discussion to the next. I had an absolute blast doing that. So so that's kind of like, I guess, why we do it. To try and bring that up again, maybe sort of throughout season 2. For season 2, Tom, we're coming back. We're not going away. We're sticking with it. Which I guess, first of all, before we start talking about the actual season 2, I guess we should do a thank you to everyone who has actually listened to our podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Go listeners.
Yeah, go listeners. We didn't actually intend for anyone to listen to this, maybe some family and friends, but we didn't expect anything from this, and I'm not trying to say it's blown up and gone viral or anything like that, because it hasn't, but that was never the goal. The goal was just for me and Tom just to watch Star Trek and talk about it. But we have had, I'm going to say, more listeners than I thought we would, which has been great.
Excellent.
It is kind of a bit of a weird feeling to know that there are people who I don't know who are listening to this. So that makes sense. Like I knew that, my partner would listen to it and, my friends would listen to it. But I didn't. It's a bit of a weird feeling knowing that there's strangers who have listened to it, which is a bit of a weird feeling.
Well, that's nice, even if we are background noise or they are, actually listening and thinking, this is great because they can follow along with the episode or they've watched it as well. Whichever way they're listening, it's nice to know that someone actually is listening.
They're like hate listening, like these guys are such idiots.
And they're listening to see how,
just
much
fueling
worse
their
we'll
rage.
get. Yeah, like each episode they're getting steadily more angry with, but I'm sure that's not the case.
Oh, definitely not. No,
some parallel Star Trek universe.
Yeah, where we've all got like evil mustaches.
Like the mirror universe,
yeah, exactly.
yes. Yeah.
But yeah, so we are going to keep doing this. We're going to do a season 2. It's going to be 10 episodes, very similar format, but we do want to make just a few tweaks and changes to how we're going to do this. And one of the bits of feedback we have received is that not everybody is watching the episodes of Star Trek as sort of we are. And I guess fail on our part, I suppose. I just envision that if you were listening to our podcast, you would have also watched the episode of Star Trek prior to listening. But that's not the case.
No.
That's perfectly fine. It was something I just had not considered. So what that means is that when we start the episode of our podcast, we don't do a rundown or a synopsis or a recap of the episode. We just sort of have been assuming you've been watching it. So we're going to start doing that. We're going to start at the top of the episode. we'll do introductions, and then we'll do like a little mini recap about what the episode's about. And hopefully that helps some of our listeners follow along, maybe like jog their memory about what episode we are actually talking about. I don't know what that's going to look like or who's going to read that. We'll figure that one out as we go. We also wanted to just change things up a little bit about how we select the episode. We didn't quite love the randomizer, the spinny wheel thing we was using. We didn't think it was random enough. It's a bit of software, you sort of trust that it is random, but it just felt like it wasn't.
It was highly biased towards animated series, it seemed. But
it was, yeah. So Tom's come across another randomizer. We're going to try out that, and we're going to see if that works. If we find that it's still not quite randomizing as we would sort of like, then we might change things again. Doesn't really matter, to be honest, as long as we get an episode of Star Trek. But we'd also like to we want to really keep the spirit of the randomness, but also embrace that variety. And to that end, we're also going to sort of put a few little limits and little rules on certain things, just to see if it helps out the flow of our podcast a little bit. And, I guess Tom mentioned we got a lot of animated episodes in season 1, which was great. It really gave us some different things to look at. But to that end, we're going to limit the amount of times an individual show can come up per season of our podcast. So one of the shows cannot appear more than twice. We cannot have more than 2 episodes of TNG, for example. And we're also going to limit when they appear so we don't get the same show back to back. For example, if we selected TNG for the first episode, then when we come to select episode 2, TNG will be out the running. But then it will come back and be available as an option for episode 3 of the podcast. And if it did come back for episode 3, well, then that'll be it. It will then be taken out the running for the remainder of the season. And we're just going to try that just to see if it helps keeps us going from different show to different show and to keep that variety. And we might not like it after 2 or 3 episodes. We might just change it or scrap it, or we're not too sure. If any of our listeners does have any suggestions or ideas about what they would like to see about how we randomize our podcast, please let us know. warpfactorunknown@outlook.com. Anything on our new randomness?
No, I think the randomness that we had is good, but this will be better because it is a random number generator as opposed to a random spinny wheel dial.
Yeah.
So the fact is we can actually have a pre-written list of the series, all the series we're going to watch, and then just choose the number related to that series that we pick. So I think it's going to be more random than a random dial. Yeah. But it won't be. But it won't be. But it will be. It will feel like it is.
Because the other option would be just to have. Because I think there's just over 900 episodes of Star Trek now. We could just have 1 to 920. However,
do you know what?
And just do that.
Actually, not a bad.
And I did think about that. However, the reason I dismissed it was because I think part of the fun of when we do select an episode is choose it when we first roll or we first select and we get the show, and then we have a little chat about it. Oh, great, we got Voyager, and then we can talk about I want to see newer Voyager or older Voyager. You know what I mean? Whereas if you just had the numbers, it would just give you an episode straight away, and you wouldn't have that kind of build up and that sort of.
I suppose I see what you mean. Yeah, it's nice to have the series picked, and then I know what you mean.
Yeah. Because I think pretty much every podcast we've done, we've got the episode, we've got the show. Then we both said, I'd quite like to see season 2 or whatever. Yeah. And then when we do or don't get that, it again sparks a bit more conversation, a bit more anticipation about what we can get. But maybe we can try. Maybe we can try a few things throughout season 2. I don't know. We're still very much in the experimental phase of our podcast. It's only been 10 episodes. Give us a break.
Well, TNG didn't get amazing till season 3.
It
was good.
You say that. Season 2's got some banging episodes.
It has. Q-Who and Measure of a Man, amazing episode.
And just generally Dr. Pulaski's character arc.
Shades of Grey, of course, is another classic from that.
Which one, sorry?
Shades of Grey.
Oh, Shades of Grey. Yeah.
But it has got some classics in there as well.
Yeah. You really lucked out. Obviously, Tom was away when we recorded some bonus episodes. One of them was Sub Rosa. You really, it was alright.
Yeah?
I mean, no, it was naff, but it was okay.
From a talking about it standpoint,
yeah,
it was okay.
It was alright. It wasn't actually as painful as I thought it was going to be.
But yes, at least you didn't see Threshold, which would have been.
No, I feel classic. Like Threshold is like one that we need to watch together, I think. One other thing we was considering adding in season 2, we didn't touch on the movies at all, and we would like to. The movies are great. There aren't many movies, there's quite a few, but not as many as there is episodes. So we were thinking of having the movies be an option to be selected, to be spun, but only give them one chance. So if we get a movie, that's it. We only have one movie per season. But I think it'd be nice to have the option to potentially watch a movie.
Yeah.
Some of them are really good. Have you ever seen the original series movies?
Yes. Notably 1 and 2.
Oh, the motion picture Wrath of Khan.
But I'd like to watch 3 and Star Trek Whale.
Star Trek Whale, yeah. Okay,
I'd like to watch that as well.
Actual official title, Star Trek Whale.
And 5 and Undiscovered Country.
So that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to do things. I hope that makes sense to everyone. So we're going to add in an episode recap. We're going to change how we select episodes and the frequency of how they're selected. And then we're going to add in a couple of extra potential bonus selections as we go. I think they're the changes we're going to make. But if there's anything else anybody would like to see or even not see, please let us know. We'll consider it. No promises. Anything else you want to bring up?
Yeah,
please do.
No, it's you may have to edit this bit out.
No, please.
Because bonus selections and has like an S at the end and an S at the beginning of the word. And if you say it quick,
bonus selections.
It sounds like bonus selections. And I'm sure that's fine to leave in there. No. And no one else will pick it up. No. But it's like when you say a game magazine really quickly. Yeah, it's like, anyway, it's fine. I digress.
That's really funny. Bonus selections. Yeah.
But no, I'm sure no one else will pick that up.
Bonus selections. Bonus selections.
It's going to be an interesting second season.
Oh, man, yeah, that's funny. Okay, I think that's enough ramble and waffle about what we're going to be doing. What we need to do is actually go and do it. So we need another episode. And I don't know when this season 2 is going to come out, when it's going to launch, I suppose. I haven't got a date in mind. We're not the best at scheduling things. And there's actually been quite a long gap between the recording of season 1 and the recording of season 2.
I was going to Australia, wasn't I?
You was in Australia, yeah. But we had finished recording before episode 1 had came out. We recorded the entire season. When we're recording this now, season 1 is only just finishing up. So it might take us ages. It might take us another, 4 or 5 months for this to air.
Yeah.
That's okay. So so there might be a big gap between the 2 seasons. We now do need to select an episode for us to watch and to kick off season 2 properly, other than just us rambling. We need rambling with a purpose.
Yeah.
So Tom.
Okay, let's do it.
You have this new...
By the power vested in me, I will... First of all then, we need to do a little trick here called writing down all the series. And if I go TNG, DS9, I'm going to do it in order.
You've already gone wrong.
What is this? Oh no, because I've then reversed the order. I'll write it down. TNG, DS9, TNG. I'm going to put TOS in there as well. So good TOS, and then Voy, not Toshiba. So TOS, and then Voy, and then we also need shout me out some other ones that we will.
Enterprise.
Oh yes, so if I put Ent, and then we've got Disc. Then we've also got Card. If I put Pick.
Yeah.
All right. Then we have
Strange New Worlds.
Yes.
SNW. We have Lower Decks.
Yeah. So if I let's put low.
We have Prodigy.
Yeah. So if I put Pro, which is what we are at recording, obviously.
Yeah. The animated series. TAS.
Yeah. So we've got TAS on there. Oops. SN, and then TAS.
There is also the shorts and very shorts, which we do include in our podcast.
Yes.
Many of us may not.
So if I go SHT, and then...
The SHT.
Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That is
13 sounds good. So
I think that's all of them, isn't it?
There are 13
then
shows.
Films as well.
So yeah, we're doing like a movie section, I suppose.
Yeah, so if I put MOV.
MOV, yeah.
So I now have 14 things on here. So if I now go to my random number generator.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is do number. It's going to be from 1 to 14. And it's going to be no repeat, because we don't want to repeat it yet. And then I'm going to go 1 and go 4.
4.
So 4.
So I assume we're going 4 by the order in which you wrote them down, not the order in which they're released.
So I've done it alphabetically. We could do it in the order it's released. What do you think?
I don't know.
So what I've actually done is I have spun and it's come up for Lower Decks.
Okay, so Lower Decks.
Okay, so we need to now spin for a series of Lower Decks.
We do. There are 4.
4 series.
Yes, because they're doing season 5, and then that's the last one. They're cancelling it.
Bastards.
I know, absolute bastard.
So if I go from 1 to 4, and season 1.
Season 1, good.
How many episodes are in season 1, please?
Well, you're the expert at this, but I can ask a friend called
Yes,
Google.
please.
I remember when Lower Decks season 1, when it first came out, I loved it. It was for me. It was like, this is the best Star Trek I've seen in the longest time.
Yeah. I've not seen much of it yet, so it'd be good to actually watch.
10 episodes.
10 episodes, okay, that's just fine. So if I now go here and reset that, and then engage 1.
Well.
The very first episode of Lower Decks.
Fantastic. That's amazing.
I think that's a good place to start, actually.
That's a good place to start, yeah. I mean, I feel like that is very Lower Decks, that we're starting season 2 of our podcast with episode 1 of Lower Decks, when it would have been nice to have like an episode 1 in season 1 of our podcast.
Yeah, but that's fine. We got to it eventually.
Yeah, we are sticking with our animated cartoons, though.
It seems that no matter what the random number generator is,
but that's fine, because the way this will work now is that for episode 2 of our podcast, Lower Decks won't be in the running, and we could not get it again. We had Lower Decks twice, didn't we, in season 1? We had 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Mine in the Mind's Mine, and the one where I ranted for ages about how evil...
yes, I remember the Grand Rant.
The Grand Rant. Hopefully we don't get this again in in this. Okay, right. We need a synopsis for episode 1. So, Lower Decks, season 1, episode 1, Second Contact. Ensign Tendi has her first day of work on Starfleet's USS Cerritos, where she meets 3 fellow support crew members, Ensign Mariner, Boimler, and Rutherford. Meanwhile, Boimler is tasked with a secret special assignment, and Rutherford attempts to keep his dating life intact while an outbreak strikes the ship. Okay, fantastic. So, thank you everyone for listening to our little rambles, our little recap of season 1 and our expectations for season 2, what we're going to change, and how we're going to kick it off with Lower Decks. Pretty happy about that, always. So yeah, it would be fantastic if you went away as well and watched the episode of Star Trek along with us. But if not, don't panic. We'll have you covered with a very amazing synopsis that one of us, or ChatGPT, will select will do for us. So yeah, hopefully you come back and listen to that. Thank you for listening to Warp Factor Unknown. I've been your host, Dan, and I've been joined by my co-host, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Today, obviously, we didn't talk about an episode, but we did talk about other things. So please come and join us next time when we do talk about Lower Decks, Season 1, Episode 1, Second Contact. Until then, thank you for your continued support. If you would like to contact us, please email us at warpfactorunknown@outlook.com. You can also leave comments and on other platforms, wherever you listen to us on the YouTubes and that kind of stuff. The music we use for this podcast is called Starfleet Command by Jeff Harvey.
Yeah, don't forget to check OnlyFans for the bonus episodes.
Yeah, that's where we take a real deep dive into Star Trek.
Yeah. No, but no, thank you for joining us as well. It's going to be a pleasure to do the second series.